You've been doing stuff with orchestra quite a bit too.
Well, the last stuff I did was what, a year ago? Because I had recorded with the NFL for a few years in a row. And the interesting thing is, like, as I've been doing this music, and I probably like mentioned it to you when we spoke about it, it's like I have no idea why I'm doing this. Like, there's no goal. There's like no. I just want. I'm just interested in it, but I would like oscillate between it because I'm like I could have like put a down payment on a house, but yet like I'm like
Mm,
paying orchestras to play my stuff, and to me, it's like there's no question about it. But like the other part of my mind can be like, what the hell am I doing? Like, there's no end game for any of
what's
this,
this for? Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And and there still isn't, but it's exciting to me. So what the fuck, Like,
Yep.
uh, and this beginning and each time I recorded with the orchestra, I was like, oh, this is going to be the last time because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And then the beginning of this year, I was like sitting in meditation or something, and it just like downloaded to me instantaneously like this whole vision of like doing a concert and like feeling it in my body that it's like, yes, this is going to
Mm,
happen, and like simultaneously my mind being blown and be like, shit, like holy wow, like it could actually happen. There are two big fears for me because like when I originally envisioned the concert, I was like, oh, we're just going to do my orchestral music. But as I started sharing with people and as I started like feeling into who's the target market and like what am I saying with this concert
yeah.
and what is it about, like it became more clear that I would actually perform at this concert,
Cool,
like
man. Yeah.
sing some of my more shamanic and mystical music and like play piano like on some of the tracks, which I'm self-taught, I'm not a pianist. So play Native American flute, so sprinkle in amongst the orchestral music like these more things that are like really like probably closer to my voice
Hmm.
as a musician at this point in my life. And when I envision doing that, like I'm both like really excited about it and I'm also like I get like a little stage frighty in my body.
Yeah, as you're envisioning it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm working with that. Like I'm like, okay, well, it's not going to stop me, but I realize like and I realize the medicine of it is that it's basically shining a light on, it's not just about me performing music, it's about me being seen in the world. So it's like a huge medicinal, like shamanic
Yeah.
journey. And and then there's also the fear like, oh, I'm gonna do this concert and all this and nobody's gonna show up.
Mm.
Just be like me in this orchestra in an empty room. And which again won't happen, but this is,
It's what's
this
coming up.
is
Yeah. I relate, dude. I get portions of this for sure. It's funny. I think since we've chatted, I've done some spiritual practice as well. Probably not like at the full extent that you have, but just more. I felt very disconnected from things like my intuition when I was working more in a kind of full-time capacity, doing like additional. Yeah, I felt kind of disconnected from those sides of me that I felt were very natural as like a young artist,
yeah.
just kind of navigating through my career and my art. And I found when I left additional last year in the middle of the year, like all the space had opened up, and there was this first there was like this urgency that's just like, okay, get back into the game, do something. Um, and I just tried to sit more and just listen to my intuition more and follow things and not try and understand stuff. And essentially, that's kind of what led me to do my album too. It was just like I don't know why, but I just feel like this is what needs to happen next. I feel like this is what I need to make. And it was funny because I had so many people that were asking, like, so what are you gonna do with it? Like, what are you gonna do when it's
Right.
out? And I
Yeah.
was like, I,
I don't know.
I don't
So
know.
doing
I don't
it.
know. I'm not thinking about that. And even the marketing stuff that I'm doing now is really intuitively driven. Like there's things I'm doing that are pretty much just random. Like I don't know why I thought to do like an animated music video thing. There was no like business that doesn't really make sense as a
Right.
business move. I'm gonna spend a lot of money on that thing, or like I have stuff in the back where I'm like wax sealing some envelopes with like letters and QR codes, and I'm gonna send out like some little like codex necklaces to people.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why. It just feels like an
It's
interesting
fun,
artistic thing
that's
to do.
why.
Yeah, exactly. It's just fun. I'm just trying to lead
Yeah.
into the fun and the intuition of stuff and let everything else kind of fall where it may.
That's great. Have you ever heard of this guy called Bashar?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Do you like what
I think
who
I've
he is, what
I
it's
think I've
about?
seen some videos of him. Yeah.
So yeah, so basically Darryl Anka is the channel who's been channeling this alien uh this alien being for 38 years. I think it's now like 40 years or something. He's been doing it. His main thing that he's trying to teach and share is what he calls the formula
Hmm.
for like what we're doing here and how to navigate this. And essentially, it's follow your excitement and your passion to the best of your ability with no insistence on the outcome
Hmm.
and always stay in a positive state. That's it.
Mm.
And he'll go into depth into why, all the different levels as to why this is the case, because ultimately he talks about how like we're infinite souls and we are we've lowered our vibration so that we can have a physical reality experience, but the way that our higher self communicates with us here is through the sensation that we call excitement and passion. So
Hmm.
it's telling us this is what's for me, and the mind doesn't get it. Like it can't see why, what's the point of this or what, and that's why the no insistence on outcome is important, because like I may want to do this thing or talk to this person, but I don't know why. And if I'm attached to the outcome, then I may try to control things and I may
Right, it
try.
throttles you. Yeah. Yep.
But then it's basically, yeah, exactly what you're talking about. It's about living a life more like with this trust and surrender of like, hey, like, what if what if the whole point was for me to be here and do exactly what I feel like doing all the time and I'll be taken care of?
Yeah.
What if
Right.
that was how it actually worked, right? Like how
Yeah.
we were when we were kids, like, you just did what you were excited about. And also that includes like if you're sad or, angry or whatever. And but you're in a flow state and you're not like self-limiting yourself to be like, oh, I'm excited about this, but dot dot dot, I can't because of these things,
Yeah.
which if we are unaware and unconscious of that, we believe that we're not the ones limiting ourselves. We believe that somehow the world is limiting us, but
Hmm.
really, yeah.
Yeah, there's like a severance of trust. I've noticed that happens at some point, and it's interesting to get back to that place because it's been the same with me too. I think for me, what where I felt that severance was like I must have said yes to enough things that I didn't want to say yes to, or no to enough. I must have done that enough times where eventually I started to trust like extrinsic stuff versus intrinsic, intuitive
Mm-hmm.
things. And so then when I got back to that place, and especially because like I had my finances wrapped up in some of these things, like some of the gigs I was taking, it was like I say no to the gigs and immediately I'm like, "Oh, I'm not safe anymore." Is kind of the feeling because now it's
Right.
like, "Oh man, well where are you going to make your money? Where are these things going to come from?" But I definitely have experienced already like way more presence and just trust in the process. And what I have noticed, like now, I'm just starting to have moments that are very affirming. Like I had a call with a previous client, and I was just feeling super like abundant and passionate. And I was talking about my album and stuff, and I mentioned it was getting recorded with orchestra, and he was like, "Dude, let's do that with our stuff."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I thought about that afterwards because I had scheduled that call with no intention
Mm-hmm.
at all. Just it was just a hey, I feel like I'd like to catch up with this guy. And then I just came in with the right energy, and
Yeah.
just an
Yeah.
energy of feeling passionate about what I was doing. That's like you said, everything else kind of falls into place from there. You can't
Mhm.
possibly predict how, but
Right.
the energy and the intentions that you come into these things seem to make a massive impact in how things unfold.
Yeah, it's a complete revolutionary way to look at reality. It's either like, okay, the external world is happening and I need to react to it, or I can think about it more as frequency, vibration, and resonance, which as a musician, like I'm that like makes so much sense to me.
Hmm.
Like where okay, if I get my state in a certain place, then the world reflects back to me where
Mm,
I'm
hmm.
at, as opposed to me taking on the world.
Yeah.
And it's a much more empowered way to live because then I'm the one making the choice. If I feel a certain way, it's not because of dot dot dot. Um, although the world is reflective, so the world reflects back to me what I need to see in myself. But if I
Mm.
receive it and I'm like, oh, well, this is stupid, this needs to change, as opposed to what is this telling me about myself,
Yeah, that's a
then
great question. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, what is this telling me about myself?
Because the way the world is right now, I see it as I see it as a positive thing, and I see it as like it's we're getting a lot more opportunities to come to a point where enough is enough.
Hmm.
But not enough is enough like, oh, like the world needs to change, but the world does. But I'm more of the belief that be the change you want to see in the world. Like where
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
when you take responsibility for yourself, like magically things seem to shift.
Yeah, it's so weird, man. It's like doing additional felt like it was that's something I did because I thought that's what was going to get me where I wanted to go, like with some more independent stuff. But over the last couple months, I've reflected on things and I'm like, actually, I've had all the infrastructure I've needed all along. Really, like in that space, it actually just has come down to a certain level of confidence, really, and
Mhm.
not taking those anything that feels secondary, and also a receptiveness to lots of people in my life who have actually really wanted to help. Like that's
Right.
been a huge change for me is I was like I've started to just ask for help more from people and it's like the abundance of help that has come back has been like mind blowing and it's made me go it's me. It was me this whole
Yeah,
time. I was in
exactly.
my way. It's like such a weird it's empowering actually in a way because
Mhm.
it's like wow, you can make these internal changes and see a lot of change in your world.
Right, because it was the internal changes that were creating the illusion of blocks in the first place. What?
Maybe that's where the essence of coming back to your like childhood creativity is important too, because I think it's that's a sort of parallel to
Mm,
this as well. Like my album has was me kind of stepping back into like, well, what did I like writing as a kid? What did I like steep myself into as an artist? And I would imagine that that process is also the similar process of what I'm doing in my life outside of the art as well.
yeah, but I mean, it's a lot more than just, as far as I'm perceiving, it's a lot more than just music. I mean, you're world
Sure.
building.
Yeah,
Not only are
yeah.
you building a world in in the music and the storylines itself, but you like bleed it into your physical reality by like changing
Yeah, yeah.
your office space. And like,
Yep. Oh
you're,
yeah, and it's awesome. I mean, it's like yeah, it's like real life fantasy. You
yeah, it's
can I can totally see the appeal to cosplay and stuff. I'm like, you know, I get it now. I get it. Like,
you're living a dream basically.
yeah, that's right.
Like,
And I mean,
yeah.
it's so cool that you can just do that kind of anywhere you want and with anything. It's insanely empowering and therapeutic.
Yeah, and I've had this I had sent out that email I don't know, some months ago about being an imposter, feeling like an imposter for a long time. And it hasn't been until like the last 4 months or 5 months that I've actually started when people ask me what I do, like I tell them, oh, I'm a composer. Like, and
Mm,
actually feeling in my body like this is what I do. The rest
mhm.
of my life, I was like, oh, like I run this software company and do this and that. Oh, and by the way, I write music, right? But for anybody who knows me, like I'm a composer, right? I write music and that's one of my passions, one of my main passions. But I was kind of like the last one to
To see
really
that.
acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And
What
now that,
changed? What allowed you to kind of embody that?
well, I mean, 10 years of meditation practice, plant medicine journeys,
Hmm.
trauma and somatic therapy, you know,
Hmm.
all this different stuff, you know.
Yeah, so nothing to do with like, I got better at orchestration or something.
No,
It's yeah, that's so interesting.
basically like removing the clouds that I had created in my own being to block my own sun, basically.
Yeah.
Um, and what's interesting though is like I'm not even attached to it. Like I'm like it used to be the biggest fear of mine, like when I was younger, if I like imagine losing my hearing,
Mm.
like Beethoven or something like this. Because like if I can't hear music, like my life would be shit. But now I'm like, I would be like, it would be a transition, but I would be fine.
Hmm.
Like I'm not, I like really enjoy music and I'm passionate about, it, but I'm also like not attached to it. Like I'm not looking at it like, okay, where is this taking me? Like, this is my thing for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I've kind of become more meta with it, where I was like, music was a great way to teach me how reality works because as I experience it, it's about making the non-manifest manifest. Like
Mm-hmm.
we tune in, we create a space, we open ourselves, or at least this is my experience. I sit down and I'm opening myself up to something beyond the physical. And I'll just start to hear things in my head. Like if I'm sitting, like it'll just start to trickle in different ways. And then I bring it into this world through the music. And that's now physical reality. And there's many different and it's unique every time. It's never the same. And there's all these lessons that can be learned of like if I'm forcing it, if it's flowing, like all these things. And then I'm like, well, okay, like I've gotten so much training with this experience, like, and I feel like now I'm like I'm a composer of my life. So how do I apply this to like get in touch with the non-manifest and like bring it into the physical as a composition, like see life
Ah, yeah. Yeah,
as a
yeah, yeah.
composition. Um, and see it as frequency and energy and vibration. And like so to me, like I think my experience these days is like when you look at it from an external perspective, I think for the rest of my life will look as though it always has. But for me, not that it always has. It's going to look like a life would look. But for
Yeah.
me, like I relate more and more to my life as like, or at least I practice relating to it as like a movie. Like,
Yeah, I understand that. Like you're stepping into the role of you can embody it because you can choose to embody it. You can just say,
right.
I'm going to be I'm going to do this because I want to, but there's the lack. I get this as like I wanted to get into doing like video game stuff, doing composing work. Um, and then for a while that was like I need that,
Mhm.
and then now like having had a year kind of to myself to make my own art, especially writing my album, I feel very content, and I feel, and so it's dropped the I need to get this thing in order to be happy, and it's more just like, oh yeah, I think I'll just I'll take a couple steps in that direction and we'll see what happens. And it's like enabled a lot more confidence, ironically,
Yeah.
because there's just less. It's like you're just playing a game at that point. It's not
Right.
like I need this or my life is over. It's just like, yeah, let's try this. Why not?
And I don't know if you've noticed this yet or had this experience yet, but when I've started to do that, what ends up happening is like there's multiple paths being walked at the same time. And sometimes it'll like you'll walk 4 steps on this one and all the energy and support is there, enthusiasm, everything to do it. And then it can just drop. And then it's like now this path
Yes.
wants to walk. And learning to work with those transitions to trust that, oh, like, yes, I was really in the flow of this and now it's just gone today. And
Hmm.
now these things are like asking for me. And if I stay attached to this path, then I'm missing the point because the mind wants to be
Yeah.
like, oh, but I need to finish this or that needs, which is being attached to an outcome.
That's right. That's right. It's the receptiveness to opportunity and intuition, which is what's so weird for me is that's like when I started my composing career, that's the way that I approached trying to build it out. Like that's identical to the way I tried to approach building it out. I don't think I realized I was building it out in a like very intuitive, manifested way, but that's ultimately what I was doing. And then I think having moved to like LA and getting locked into like this is the way we do things, and this is the ladder, and here's how you get up the ladder, and all that stuff. Even though I wasn't super involved in it, I was just great. Just even seeing that that was something sort of made me go like, "What's that?"
Mm.
and pulled me away from it. So it's funny you even described it like that because I literally have in my journal um like a little tendril thing that I'm drawing over
Mhm.
the last 2 weeks of things that have manifest from little actions I've done, and just being
Yeah.
like all the ripple effect of what can come out from a good intention, and openness.
Yeah, and then I feel like I'm kind of at the point where like I've done those exercises and I've seen it enough where I'm like, and I model it like that and I look at it, I'm like, oh, this is what's happening. And I feel like the where I'm at is like, okay, all that is to say like now that I just need to trust and surrender more because like I
Yeah.
don't even need to understand. I don't even need to
Yeah, you don't have to
know
write it
that
down at
much
all.
about it. Like
Yeah.
I just like because
It's like
and
soothing techniques, I think for at least for me, it's a soothing technique for my mind
yeah,
to go,
it's a
this makes
way.
sense.
Yeah, because it's all about, for me, and from a spiritual perspective, it's all about self-realization. Like we're kind of like waking up within the dream, and these whole things are like, little like sending messages to oneself, like,
Hmm.
and but at some point, yeah, at some point there's like a clicking that happens where it's just like, oh, like I really don't have to be involved in this.
Hmm.
Like not in, and I don't mean that in like a bypassing way, like it's like a spiritual bypassing. Like I mean like fully embodied and fully present for everything, and at the same time, like who am I really? Right? Like
Hmm.
there's the body, there's the mind, there's the emotions, and then there's like awareness itself, consciousness itself, which is the thing that witnesses all these.
Hmm.
So for me, like what's really exciting and interesting is like I want to be like, well, the thing is, we never can leave awareness, of course, but we
Right.
can we can get lost in these things. Um, and that's where all I create all the stress and I create all those things, those
Yeah,
experiences.
scarcity and yeah, for sure.
And and even my idea of like, even the idea of like, oh, one day I'll be realized is an illusion because we already are. Like, and the only thing that makes it seem as if we're not is the idea that we're not.
Yeah.
It's it's like it's so
The mind likes to the
yeah.
mind is tricky, dude. Because yeah, even thinking 5 seconds ahead is still thinking ahead.
Yeah,
Like
it
it
creates
all
time. It literally creates time.
yeah, yeah, a hundred
Um,
percent.
yeah, something that's interesting to me in terms of like what I'm doing with music. It kind of feels like all the music that I've been producing, the orchestral, like, because all this stuff that I've recorded with orchestra in the past 3 years and what I'm going to be is all music that I wrote
Mm,
when I was in college. Really, that was my heyday of writing my orchestral music.
hmm.
Orchestral music doesn't come to me these days. Like it's more like in the flow and actually like as I really feel into it, like I feel like my music is more like there's a part that's like a container, like let's just say like a held chord progression on some pads over like 7 minutes or whatever, and then like vocal channeling
Hmm.
that's going to be different every time, but it's like not written down like what exactly will happen.
Yeah.
So it feels like more like it feels like this concert in a way, at least, and I don't know, but it feels like it's like an homage to like all the work that's been like the body work that's been created, but it's like not it's and it's a launching into something that's coming next, but it's not like to me, I don't know, like, and it kind of feels scary to say, but like I love orchestral music and I love film scores, but it's like just doesn't have that same, it just feels too fancy now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand that. Yeah. It feels like it's trying to be clever.
Yeah, it feels like and that's part of was the imposter thing because like I felt like I was really proud of my orchestral music and then I would like sit down at the piano and like play something, not even think about it, do a one take and be like, oh, this, and then throw it out. Like I would throw
Mhm.
it out. And then I would put this music on, I put this music on Insight Timer and I put it on whatever other platforms. And the music that I'm like, this is not my good music is the stuff that people like the most for me. It's
Mm, mm-hmm.
like on Insight Timer, the stuff that has the most plays is the stuff that I just sat down and I just like blew it out, but I discounted it because I was like, oh, this was just easy for me. So therefore it must not be good.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one. Yeah. Yeah, because it's easy for me. Like something's wrong because this is easy for
Right.
me, and I've been taught that things are supposed to be hard to be like
Right.
of value.
And if it's easy and it's simple, then it can't be impressive,
Yeah.
right? Or something like this.
Well, that gets beat out of musicians like hard. I mean, I went to I went to classical, really
Yeah.
classical composition college, and that was swiftly and aggressively beaten out of us. That like, if you do something that sounds anything like what I've heard before, it's not interesting. And it wouldn't, they wouldn't be so direct about it, but it was always it was there, in the atmosphere of like grad students and where teachers turned their heads and where they got excited about things. And yeah, I mean, I almost quit my composition major in college because of that, because it was just like I feel totally disconnected from the music I'm writing.
Hmm.
And yeah, I've had a similar thing too, where um, I'm glad I built the skills to do some of the orchestral stuff, but I also feel myself kind of shifting into music that just feels more enjoyable to write in the process of writing it. Because I think that that's a really important thing for me is maybe some composers care more about like the output, like what comes out, and are willing to like suffer through it. But for me, the process of composing is what I'm drawn to, not necessarily like the output. So I
Yeah.
want to make the process feel enjoyable. That's like what's important to me. And if that means that, I'm not working with a massive 500 track template and I'm instead working on the piano, like that's fine with me as long as I enjoy the process. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, the whole process of making art through a computer is already like a slightly disconnected experience from the past. I mean, I think in general we'd probably have a lot more fun writing music if we were writing it in front of a physical acoustic instrument and
Mm.
or pencil and paper. Like not always necessarily being fun, but I think it would be a more grounded process. I think it's very hard to stay grounded while we're working in computers. Like at
Yeah.
least in my experience. And so much of what I've had to do, what I've chosen to do over the last few months is try and yeah, just try and ground myself through the process of writing music. It's funny, one of you talk about intuition and things. One of the most impactful piece of advice I gave in my coaching program to a student was just to light a candle before he composes, which
Mm.
is funny because I would never have thought that that would have been like useful. It
Hmm.
was just kind of casually came out. I was like, oh, what do you? I'm like, before you compose, like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, I'm just wrapping up work. And I was like, yeah, maybe try like lighting a candle or something. Just like signal the
Yeah.
change. And he said it changed his entire like he enjoys composing now.
Yeah.
But I think it comes down to that fact that um we need kind of like a ritual around making art and
Yeah.
something
Like
like some
kind of
reverence
like,
around it.
yeah, kind of like if you're gonna make love, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not like I just finished work and let's do this. Like it's
Just
like
wrapped up my finance sales calls. Let's go. Yeah, right. I guess some people might, but yeah, you need like a reference a reverence to what you're doing, I
Because you're
think.
courting the muse. I mean, you
Yes.
can write music that's formula. You know, you can write music without courting the muse, but then like why? Like,
Yeah.
like for
Yeah,
me
what
anyway, like
right,
why?
exactly. The whole experience I think is ultimate this for me personally, it's to enjoy the process. If I didn't enjoy the process of writing music, I I don't think I would do it. I think the whole draw was that I found music attractive and like calling me. But I think it gets just so easy for people to discount how they're feeling while they're making music and just get so
Especially if
caught in
they
their
do it for a
head.
living.
Yeah, 100%. Well, right. I mean, then yeah, I think the biggest lesson I've had over the last year is to realize like it's my responsibility to cultivate that positive, healthy relationship with music. Like if you do it for a living, there's more of a responsibility. It increases the responsibility. It's not like, oh, now that I'm writing music for a living, all my needs are met. It's like, no, now you have to find extra sources to recharge and replenish, not expect music to always be the thing that's going to make you feel like re-inspired. You can't work in an
Hmm.
echo chamber. It's like I'm I need to get inspired for music. Let me listen to music. It's like
Yeah,
sometimes you got to go for a walk or read or something, but it's yeah, it's super important I think to cultivate a healthy relationship around it and it usually has to do with things that have nothing to do with music. Like you said, it's like inner work and things like that and recognizing what you're how much you're thinking while you're writing
yeah.
music and
'Cause I feel like,
comparing.
yeah, because it's art, and I think true art is like the flower on that blossoms on a tree, right? But in order for that flowering to happen, you had to have a seed, you had to have the roots grow deep, you had to have the whole apparatus of this tree to come up, and then the last thing that happens is the flower.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Yeah, you're right. It's funny. I have people that one thing I get a lot on YouTube is people seem like they really like how much fun I'm having. Sometimes
Mm.
people don't say it directly, but I can sort of feel that that's what they're like drawn to. And I think that the disconnect that people get is they think that I'm having fun because I have enough like prerequisite knowledge to just like relax. They're like, oh, well, if I knew the stuff that he knew, then I could write music and then it would be fun too. It's
No.
like, no, no, I don't think it's that at all, actually. I think it's about the attitude and the intention and probably other stuff in my life that is
It's it.
enabling me to just have fun when I come in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's even simpler than that. It's about being aligned with your passion.
Yeah,
And
that's
for
true.
you right now, it's this music project, but there have been times when you weren't passionate about music,
Mm,
right?
that don't go
And
on film.
yeah, so like it's about doing what and it's about trusting like and not again not being attached to outcomes like because things shift like I'll right now like and things shift on this project like there was that day that 3 days where I was like the inspiration came in for the concert. I was like, wow, this is so grateful, like tears, like I
Mm.
get to do this. This is like this is amazing. Second, third day, this glow of this experience. On the fourth day, I'm like, like what I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
And and then being willing to be like not like panic about that and be like, you know what? It wasn't me that created the idea in the first place. Like if it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen. And I can't like be afraid by the fact that on this fourth day that glow isn't here and I
Hmm.
need to find where the glow is.
Hmm.
Because the glow is somewhere, and it could be in just and it happens to be sometimes like if I'm working on a long project and I'm editing a video or something and I'm really into it for like 5 days and I'm like, I need to get this done and I'm stressed about getting it done. And then on the sixth day, I don't want to do it anymore. I want to like lay down and like read a book. Well,
Yeah.
I can be like bad dad and be like, oh well, you need to keep working on this because you need to get it done. Or it could be like, more like feminine receptive and intuitive and be like, oh, this is what I'm telling myself that now is time for. And if I'm telling
Mm.
myself it's time for that, then it is time for this.
Hmm.
I'm the one who thought it needed to be get it done at a certain point. I'm
Yeah,
the
you're right. You're right.
pressure.
I think people struggle with that because, and I relate to this to an extent, but it's softer now. I think people struggle with it because we probably don't trust that if we just let go and not try and enforce
Yeah,
our willpower on things, we probably don't trust that anything would get done.
of course.
I
Yeah.
think that there's a feeling that it's like, I don't want to do this, therefore I need to force myself to do it or it's not going to get done. But I hear what you're saying and I agree. It's been my experience too. I didn't really force myself to write that battle track late last night.
Right.
It just felt like it was time.
Yeah.
And that's when I showed up for it.
And yeah, 100%. Like most people will resist to this, and I will even resist to it myself because most of our conditioning our whole lives has been in order for us to be accepted and loved, we have to produce something.
Yeah.
It's not
Yep.
okay. It's not enough for us to be ourselves and to be changeful
Hmm.
as we are, like as children. Like they're playing with blocks at one moment and building this castle and completely engrossed in it. And then all of a sudden they hear the ice cream truck and the castle is dead to them. Like
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
They're not even thinking, they're not thinking I'm going to come back to this castle. And they might be,
Mm,
but you
yeah. Yeah.
know,
I'm so lazy for not finishing my castle. Yeah. Right.
but
Yeah.
like, but yeah, we're taught that like in order for things to get done, we have to like it takes work and
Apply
effort,
effort. Right. Right.
which it's kind of a paradoxical because ultimately, if I look at what you've done, like if we put up on paper, like what you've put into this album, certainly you could look at that and be like, yes, that's effort. But
Hmm.
like, but your experience of it probably was
Effortless.
not
Right.
good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. Yeah. 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 Stuff. But I guess that supports the point, which is that like you don't have to work against your own grain in order to
Right. And
produce
that's
things in
why
the first
passion
place.
and excitement is so important because
Yeah.
if you're passionate and excited about it, then whatever it takes to do that is effortless.
Yeah, that's right. That's
But
right.
if you
Yeah.
don't, but if you're not excited about it, then it takes a lot of effort and work. But then we can get this idea that, oh, that's what it feels like because so much of our career in college and all this is about training our system that getting a good grade and being successful means work, effort,
Yeah.
like the effortful effort.
It's so crazy, man. It's been it's funny like you said how those things I came to such similar conclusions like in my box and thinking and journaling and stuff. And then now I'm hearing like you echo the exact same things that I've been thinking about. But it's, yeah, this is like what my whole 2025 has been about is like just leading with passion and allowing everything else to kind of fall where it may.
That's great because my sense is like 2025 is like his transition year to 2026, which is basically 2026 is like take off, take flight into like full force into the your self creating your life.
Mm,
If you transition from like this year, if you make this shift, then you're on the runway and fully ready to take off. And if you don't, then whatever. It's still everything's always fine. You
yeah.
can't do anything wrong. Like, but it
I
is about
appreciate hearing
preference.
that, man. That's sort of how it feels internally, so it's cool to hear that outside. It's weird. I have the least amount of plan and the most amount of like confidence this year.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah.
very different than it's been in the past. And thank you again, by the way, for the support with the album. I really appreciate
Oh yeah,
that.
of
That
course. My
was
pleasure.
really cool to see people coming in and supporting it.
I'm also thinking about the like I'm also about the asking for help thing is something that's on my radar too. Like even though like I can self-fund my stuff right now, like I'm like, yes, I can do that and also I want this to be sustainable and I want
Yeah,
community to be involved and I want to have people involved. It's ultimately the money is part of it, but it's also like feeling that people are showing up as an audience and like
that's
interested in
right.
what I'm doing.
There's people that, I mean, in my experience, sometimes people just jumping at an opportunity to like say thanks because I know that you've helped a lot of people as well, and you share your work with people. So
Yeah.
sometimes I think it's like giving people an opportunity to do that because nobody has to do it, but
No.
it's like when it's there, sometimes people can say thanks.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it was great catching up.
You too, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you seem well.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we'll be in touch.
Yeah, we will.
Good luck with your stuff. Keep me posted on everything. I'm looking forward to seeing the. Is it going to be virtual? I don't remember if I asked you that.
The concert?
Will you be doing any like yeah virtual streaming of it?
Yeah, I'm gonna live stream it.
Cool. Okay, I'll definitely be there for that.